Hey everybody, welcome to the Big Huntsville Podcast, the show that's all about the people, places, and the stories that make this city an amazing place. I'm your host, Carl Thomas, your favorite realtor, singer-songwriter, and all-around Huntsville cheerleader. Each week, we'll be shining a light on the community heroes who make this city tick, having some fun along the way, and sharing a few real estate tips when you least expect it. So whether you've lived in Huntsville your whole life or you're just thinking about calling Huntsville your new home, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hey everybody, thank you so much for meeting us again on Big Huntsville Podcast. We have been humbled by the people that have been on the show with us. There have been so many people that are doing things in our area that I never knew about, and likely most of the listeners don't know about. And today, I don't think is an exception to that. We have somebody super special with us. Her name is Susan McDougal, and I want to read a little bit of pre-prepared information because she's got so much going on. Let me just share this with you. Susan Thomas McDougal is a dedicated nonprofit leader and community advocate based in Huntsville, Alabama, our city that we love. She serves as executive director of both the Alabama State Spelling Bee and the Madison County Spelling Bee, programs affiliated with the Scripps National Spelling Bee and sponsored by the Alabama Kiwanis Foundation. A past president and current board member of the Kiwanis Club of Huntsville, McDougall has been instrumental in expanding the reach of the Alabama Spelling Bee program. Under her leadership, more than 750 schools across the state have registered for participation, with many local Kiwanis clubs providing support through funding, volunteerism, and event coordination. Beyond her work with spelling bees, this is neat, McDougall owns and operates Susie Q Travels, a travel advisory business that also supports community initiatives. Her commitment to education and community service continues to inspire and impact countless young individuals across the state. Okay, I want to first of all stop on the.
I want to know if you can spell those words.
Okay, so here's the deal. I should have been in more spelling bees, clearly by reading a long paragraph. Susan, thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. Before we jump into all of the really good stuff that you're up to, tell us about the travel business real quick, because I would love for people to hear this and then spend money with you. That would be awesome.
You know what? I would love people to spend money with me on travel. Yeah, I've been doing travel in the Huntsville-Madison County area for over 40 years. I come about it naturally. My mom was in the business right here in Huntsville, Alabama. She actually worked for Eastern Airlines back in the day. And so here I am. I sit at Susie QZ Travels all day, and I plan exciting trips and vacations that make people memories. And
that is awesome.
That's another passion of mine.
So if somebody searches Susie Q, and it's spelled exactly like it sounds, SUZQZ, Susie, it's Susie Q's Travels, right?
That's right.
Okay, I missed the
Susie QZ, Carl.
Okay, all right. I just lost the spelling bee. So if they search that, they can find your business?
They certainly can.
Cool. All right. That's what we want to happen. Okay, let's get to the good stuff here. So you've got lots of different things going on where the spelling bee seems to be the center of the mission for you. I guess, how did you first get involved in the Alabama State and Madison County spelling bees? How did you jump into that?
Most of my life is a funny story. I joined the Kiwanis Club of Huntsville a little over 25 years ago. And like most civic organizations, when you join, you get voluntold to be part of it. That's not a real word.
I like it though.
To be part of a committee. And so I was voluntold to be part of the spelling bee committee. I had never been in a spelling bee. My son had never been in a spelling bee. I'd never seen a spelling bee. And I said, sure, why not? Jump in with both feet. And I did. And I was hooked. And that was 25 years ago. And then I conducted the Madison County Spelling Bee for since then till today. And then in 2017, the Birmingham News, which previously was the sponsor for the Alabama Spelling Bee, contacted me and they said, we're going out of business. We cannot do the Alabama Spelling Bee. You've been doing it a long time. Can you do this? And I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, wow. Okay, you're going with one county in the state of Alabama. Now there are 67 counties and 779 schools that enroll every year. And I said, I have to do this for the kids. The kids cannot go without this program. And I volunteered myself. And then I went to the Alabama Kiwanis Foundation, which is over the entire state. And they said, absolutely, we're all in. Let's do this. And
Wow.
that's how it happened.
Have you seen, or how have you seen, I'm sure you have, an impact on students in our area and all over the state from this being available to them to do?
I'm going to tell you a story from quite a few years ago. I went to a Huntsville City School Board meeting, and I saw one of the Madison County Spelling Bee winners there. She was also an Alabama Spelling Bee winner, and she was at the school board meeting. And I said, Ella, what are you doing here? And she said, Miss Susan, what are you doing here? And I said, I'm talking about the spelling bee. And her father turned to me and he said, because of Ella's experience at the spelling bee, not only learning how to spell words, but the roots of words, how to put them in parts of speech, and public speaking, because you do have to get up on a stage. So there's study skills, how to present yourself, all that good stuff, confidence. She was at that school board meeting because she had gotten a perfect ACT and she had been admitted to Harvard. And her dad told me it was because of her experience with the Alabama Spelling Bee program.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I was a one proud queen bee.
Yeah, I bet. Wow. Okay. So my personal story is when I was in school, I didn't try. And we would occasionally I was in some special education classes and things like that, not because I really needed to be, just because I did not care. But when something like this would happen in my school, something similar to this, it's almost like it's a boosting confidence for you to put effort in. And, that's something that some kids that may not have a home life where there's a lot of support behind them and interest from the parents or whatever their living situation may be. It's really great when something like this is a useful tool to catch their attention in order to put effort in, because life is hard to live if you never learn to put effort in. And something like this could be the driver for that. So how have you seen and that kind of thing as far as kids getting involved? When they enroll, how do they enroll? I guess that's a good question to ask.
It's a great question. And it's a wonderful question, because I do get a lot of contacts from parents saying, how do I get my student involved? And that's the beauty of the spelling bee. And again, I had a small child at one time myself. He's now a grown adult, but it doesn't matter what kind of shoes you have on your feet, what kind of car your mama drives, who you hang out with. Any student can participate in the spelling bee because the schools enroll. So as long as the school enrolls, every student in that school has an opportunity to participate. So there's no economic burden on the parents whatsoever. Sure. So it is open to everybody if the school enrolls. So enrollment begins in the middle part of August of every year. And the enrollment for the school is less than $200. They could have a bake sale and make that $200, right? The PTA can come up with $200 pretty much easily. So the school enrolls, and the fee that they pay gets them access to all the materials that they will need to conduct both classroom and school bees. They get the word list, they get everything they need from Scripps. So the $189, it gets paid to the Scripps National Spelling Bee Program, not to the Kiwanis Club, nothing like that. It goes to Scripps, and then the school then has access to all that information. And then they conduct their school bees. And then after we get a winner from each school bee, then that student then comes to the Madison County bee. And little tip here, Carl, is we have more kids that participate in the Madison County Spelling Bee than I have at the Alabama Spelling Bee. So wow. We have a big bee, and we prepare our students for the Madison County Spelling Bee better than any other county in the state of Alabama. In fact, more than a lot of states across the country, because we include vocabulary, which a lot of places do not. And it's a little bit more rigorous, but we're preparing the children and the students for their time up at the big stage in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, and that absolutely makes sense. Just that we would have such involvement and such success in this county because there's so many smart parents. So of course they're going to have smart kids. A lot of the folks here that I deal with have a lot of times multiple engineering degrees, and it's
Oh yeah.
intimidating. So I'm sure their kids are smart too. Okay, so just for the average kid, like what do they gain by participating?
Not only, but they gain the accolades amongst their fellow students. First of all, I mean,
Sure.
if they win their school spelling bee, that's a big deal for any student to win their school spelling bee. And then when they make it to the Madison County Spelling Bee or whichever county they live in the state of Alabama, if they make it to that county bee, normally whoever sponsors that is giving them some sort of prize. They're giving
Okay.
them something. So in Madison County, I get these kids these big trophies. I make it
Yeah.
like, and not a participation trophy. Not everybody gets one, just the
Sure.
kids, first, second, third. And they're big. I get the biggest trophies that can fit in a china cabinet.
That's
Um,
awesome.
right. And then the winner from the Alabama spelling bee, I give out more of a crystal trophy. It's a little bit more
Sure.
dignified. And then we pay for them. The Alabama Kiwanis Foundation pays for the tickets for them to go up to Washington, D.C., as well as their hotel stay for the week.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so how does the Kiwanis, how did they get involved in this?
You know what? In Huntsville, I have no idea. It was before
Okay.
my time.
Okay. All right. Um,
I don't know. And I think it was before anybody that's still in that club it has been alive. It's been
well,
going on forever. In the state of Alabama, we just completed our 97th spelling bee. So our
wow.
state of Alabama has been conducting spelling bees for 97 years. But I'm going to tell you a fun fact, Carl. Here's a fun fact.
Yes.
I told you I was wearing my spelling bee shirt, right?
Yes. There you go. More than 100 years.
More than 100 years. But here's a funny thing that it did not say our 100th anniversary, right, of the
Okay.
spelling bee. And I'm going to, do you know why? I'll tell you
No.
why. Because there have been 2 times in history that the National Spelling Bee did not take place. Can you guess those 2 times in history that a spelling bee would not take place?
No idea.
I'm going to tell you. Okay, the most recent one was COVID, right? We couldn't have a spelling bee because of COVID.
That
And
makes
then
sense.
one previous to that was World War II. So they can't say 100th anniversary because there were 2 times in history we did not have spelling bees. So
Wow. Okay. Wow. So during World War II, what was happening? Were
I don't
they
know, bombs, I don't know. Kids were being sent over,
overseas?
I don't know. I wasn't around, Carl.
Okay. Okay. I get that. I get that. Okay. So you had said that you give out lists of words to the classrooms, to the schools. Where do those words come from?
Merriam-Webster's dictionary.
Okay. Are you choosing them?
Oh, I am
Okay.
not choosing them. I'm not spelling them. I'm not even pronouncing them, Carl. I'm just making sure the gig happens.
Can you spell them?
Sometimes I can
Sometimes.
spell them. Sometimes I've impressed myself sometimes, but no, they come from Scripps. So Scripps Network is a big, huge network. They own lots of TV stations, newspapers all over the country, and they have an editorial board. And that editorial board derives the words that are used at the classroom bee, at the
Okay.
school bee, at the county bee, at the state bee, and then at Scripps National Spelling Bee. But I've always found there's been a theme. So this year at Scripps National Spelling Bee, the theme was plants. You know, the plant variations. There's all kinds of weird spellings for that. So I was lost after the first round. I'm like, okay, I can't spell this.
But say it again. Plants?
Plants. Yeah, plants, like things that grow out of the ground. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
ready to win this thing. Okay.
I have a word for you, Carl. I have a
Okay.
spelling bee word for you, and I'm going to see if you can spell it.
All right.
Okay. And don't forget now, Carl, it's very important in a spelling bee. You need to always ask for the origin of the word, for it to
Okay.
be used in a sentence,
All right.
and for what part of speech, because
Okay.
all those things help you determine how to spell a word. For instance,
Okay.
if a word is Latin, it's going to be spelled different than if it were to be French of origin. So when you
Okay.
watch a spelling bee, the really good kids, the kids that I'm studying, they know how to spell words based on the root of the word, the part of speech,
Ugh.
right? I know. As adults, we're like, it's a lot. And these
Okay.
kids are only through the 8th grade. So these aren't like high school students. These are little kids. Okay, so your word, Carl, is cacao.
Cognifi.
Yeah,
Did I say it right? Okay. All right.
cacography.
Say it in Pig Latin for me.
Cacography. Oh, I can't even do that in Pig
What's
Latin.
the root word of this?
The word is from Greek.
Okay, it's from Greek. Okay. And I forgot the other things I'm supposed to ask.
It's a noun. It's a noun. Do you want me to, you want the definition? No.
Yeah, sure. Throw it at me.
Okay, the definition is bad spelling.
See, I thought that had something to do with photography. Okay, I was way off. Okay, so cacography. See, and now I'm second guessing if it starts with a C. I'm starting to lean towards K. But CACO, cough-raphy. COUGHRAPHY. I nailed it, didn't I?
I didn't bring my dreaded bell.
Okay.
That no student ever wants to hear the dreaded
Oh
bell.
no, you ring a bell when they spell it wrong?
Yes.
See, you can tell I know nothing about spelling bees.
Okay, I know you're going to go watch one right now.
Right.
After we finish this, because
Well, it's better to ring a bell than to hit them with something. So I think that's good. That's good.
we,
That's good.
we don't choose violence. We don't choose.
Okay,
But
so
yes, we can ring the bell, and if I had that bell right now, yes, I would have rung it. And
okay, you need to spell this word.
So the correct spelling is C-A. You were very close. C-A-C-O-G-R-A-P-H-Y.
See, that's so simple. You would think that would be more simple, but as you're determining things in your brain and you're getting stressed out by the bell that's coming your way, you just throw out all kinds of stuff. That's amazing.
Right. And you can't write it down, so it's not like you can visualize it on a piece of paper. So when you see the kids at a spelling bee, a lot of kids will do just that. They'll write it out on their hand so they can visualize it, or they use it like a typewriter. Kids nowadays type.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
In my time, since I've been doing the Alabama Spelling Bee, we have had a national champion one time, and her name was Erin Howard. She was right here from Madison County. She was one of the Octo champs in 2019. Her banner hangs at the Scripps National Spelling Bee, and she was a typer. She would have typed out.
Yeah. So what did Erin go on? I'm guessing she's in college, 2019. Oh no, she's probably done.
She's still in college, because you can only participate in a spelling bee through the 8th grade.
Eighth grade. Okay, that was one of my questions I forgot to ask. Yeah, I was going to say, can I do this? Grade. But I've just decided from this test I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, so through the 8th grade, do you have any trouble getting schools to participate in this program?
I do have a lot of problems. I do. A lot of schools in the area just don't feel like it's worthwhile, which we've already talked about how it is totally worthwhile. Yeah. A lot of schools think that it costs more than it does, and it doesn't. It's $189. It's not a lot for the school to enroll. A lot of times it's because the teacher isn't willing to take it on as an added responsibility in addition to their curriculum. That's a big problem. And another thing I come into is teachers or administrators change schools. So if that teacher has been my coordinator at that school for years, and then she retires, there's nobody that picks up that baton. Yeah. So that's another challenge I run into. Before COVID, statewide, I would have around 900 schools in the state of Alabama that participated. And then, like you mentioned, this year I had 779. So
you're rebuilding.
I'm trying to get it back up there. And that's not just specific to Alabama. When I went to Washington, D.C. for the bee, that's happened across the country. But we're rebuilding it, and we're going to get these kids educated and get their linguistics up there.
How does this knowledge that we're taking on right now help us support you? Because this sounds extremely important. And even for kids like me that didn't try in school, something like this could drive them to a completely different life. It's just amazing how the choices you make, even early on in life, affect everything you do. So number one, how do you get in touch with these schools? What are you doing to try to get them on board? And
I get a list at the start of every school year of every school in the state of Alabama and an email address. Unfortunately, a lot of times when I send out an email, I go to spam. I'm one of a million emails that they get. I know I get hundreds of emails every day that I just get lost in the shuffle. My outreach is to talk to parents, right? If I can get the parents to go get to the schools and say, look, Is the school participating? My student, my child wants to participate in the spelling bee, and the school is the only avenue for them to do.
Yeah.
So if I can get the parents out there saying,
Yeah, the parents fighting the fight. Yeah.
that's what I need. The parents
Yeah,
fighting.
absolutely. Is there any Madison County schools we can throw under the bus real quick that haven't joined in?
Well, because we don't start again until the middle of August now, Carl. We're not throwing anybody under the bus now, but come back to me in December and I'll go. I'll spill the tea.
The whole show, we just love to throw people under the bus.
I'll spill all under the bus.
So at the core of what you're doing with all of this, because this sounds like a lot of work, at the core of what you're doing is because you care about children. And so let's kind of transition to the Kiwanis Club, because you have a lot of involvement, past president. So tell me, basically, like the Kiwanis Club of Huntsville, that's the group that you're the biggest part of. How can we support children in our communities? How can we help them do that job? Because I know that they spend a lot of energy towards that.
We spend a lot of energy towards kids in the community through various means. We give scholarships to high school students for college. We support many reading programs to kids in the community. But our only and single fundraiser that we have for the Kiwanis Club of Huntsville, and where we get our money that we can then filter it out within the community, is our Pancake Day. And
I like this already.
Piqued your interest right there, didn't I, Carl? So we have our annual Pancake Day is held at Huntsville High. It's the first Saturday of March every year. And so next year, that's going to be on March the 7th. Huntsville High, it's all you can eat pancakes and in sausage and juice and milk. And it's just a big time for all. That too, we've seen our attendance for that go down as well.
Okay.
Post-COVID, it's always
we're all getting used to being around humans again. It's hard.
Right, I know, but I like this, you and me. So that's our single fundraiser. That's it, and that is the only way we raise funds. And that, like I said, that we disperse throughout the community in many ways, because our sole purpose of the Kiwanis Club, not only locally here in Huntsville, but in Alabama and internationally, we've got clubs all over the world, is to support the kids, and it's supporting children. We've done a lot of great things. We got rid of the immune deficiency disorder that was rampant throughout the world. Due to our donations and with the help of UNICEF, we eradicated it. Wow. And it's things that just hurt kids. We start local and then it just grows bigger and bigger. And we know, as the Kiwanis Club of Huntsville and with the Spelling Bee, that if we start it young and we get these kids educated and get them fed and clothed, that they're going to grow up to be leaders in our community, and they're going to be the next mayors or congressmen or heads of organizations that we all rely on.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So Kiwanis Club of Huntsville, that's how somebody would jump in on the internet and search.
That's right. We meet at the Elks Lodge on Monday nights.
Okay. So Kiwanis Club of Huntsville. Parents, be all over your schools about the spelling bee. August is coming up quick. You got to get on them as soon as your kid enrolls and you're going. So get in there and talk about that for sure. And then once again, Miss McDougall here is a travel agent, right? How would they find your business?
All they have to do is Google SUZQZ Travels. That's it. Or they can find me on Facebook. We've got a Facebook group. I put tips out. I just put a great tip out about Big Ben in London the other day.
Okay, fantastic.
In fact, do you know Big Ben is not the tower? Okay, you know about Big Ben in London, right, Carl?
I don't think I do. I'm lost again.
Anyway, Big Ben in London. Most people think of it as the big clock tower. No,
okay, yes.
Big Ben is only the bell in the tower. That's Queen Elizabeth Tower. The bell is Big Ben. Only the bell, not the whole tower, not the clock, just the bell.
Are you sending people to see this bell in London? Oh, they need to. What about the Caribbean? I appreciate that the bell exists, but come on.
Too.
Yeah, I gotcha. I did a drive through the Keys last year, and I just love anything turquoise water. So I just love it. I love it.
Did you eat the key lime pie?
Oh, yeah. I had to eat a bunch of different versions of it and decide which one's your favorite.
Did you eat the frozen stuff with it dipped in chocolate?
I did not. I didn't try that.
I guess you have to go back, Carl.
Yeah, okay. I know somebody that can send me that way.
I'm very good at telling people where to go.
Yes, awesome. I love that. I love that. Okay. Susan Thomas McDougal, thank you for being with us today. Thank you so much for sharing about all that. Thank you guys for watching the Big Huntsville podcast. We love to highlight when somebody is doing big things. And I know this is a little outside of our norm, but this is something that is truly helping children in our area and all across the state. And we had a guest here who's actually the biggest part of that stuff that's happening. How cool is that? So definitely support her in her private life through booking your vacations through her, because I know that we work hard here in Huntsville, but we also play hard. So when it's time to go play, let her set you up with a great spot to do that in. And then also the Kiwanis Club of Huntsville. Definitely support the pancake breakfast. So many of the nonprofits, because I get to talk to a lot of them on here, it's an uncomfortable thing to constantly have to fundraise. It's just uncomfortable, but you have to do it. It's really cool to hear about one of these groups that just does one and done. That's very unique. If it's their one shot to provide help to our community, then definitely support it and eat some pancakes while you're at it. What are you, crazy? Anyways, thank you all again for being here. We will catch you next time on the Big Huntsville Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to the Big Huntsville Podcast. If you've enjoyed the stories, the laughs, and maybe learned a little something new about our amazing city, remember, Huntsville isn't just a place, it's a community. And we've got some of the best folks around. So if you like today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe and share it with a friend. And if you got a local hero or story you think we should highlight, hit me up. I'd love to hear about it. Until next time, I'm Carl Thomas. Keeping it fun, keeping it real, and always keeping it big here in Huntsville. Catch you later.